Hey everyone, my name's Andrew. I'm a chief resident in orthopedic surgery.
And my name's Garrett, and I'm also a chief resident with orthopedic surgery. And we're here to introduce you to what we've put together, which is Lamellis, and more formally, our product, which is going to be OrthoOS, Notion template to make you a better resident.
So OrthoOS was really born out of our own experience as orthopedic residents. When I started intern year, I really wanted to build a system that would allow me to take really good notes throughout my training that would not only help me learn from case to case in residency, but also be a resource on the back end. And I spent hours and hours researching different note-taking systems. I talked to other residents to see what they were using, and either I hated the format of how the notes looked on other platforms, or I hated that they weren't very searchable, or I just hated that they wasn't going to be a resource that seemed like it would be beneficial in the future. It was just kind of prepping to the bare minimum to get through residency, but then beyond that, the notes were worthless. And that's when I stumbled on Notion. And Notion really at its core is a free-form database software that allows you to build databases, get them to talk to each other, and build a structure that works for you. And that's the one thing that I found that allowed me to capture the vision of what I wanted, not only for residency, but for practice forever, to be a resource that would help me be a better trainee and ultimately a better surgeon. And that's what we built over the years and refined over the years with OrthoOS. It's a series of different databases that work together in concert that require very little day-to-day maintenance, but at the end, create this product, this resource for you that will be easily referable and easily usable.
Yeah, I think if you look at the parallel timelines, right? Like while Andrew was developing Notion as an intern and developing this template, I was messing around in Apple Notes. I was messing around in Google Sheets. I've probably started and stopped no less than three because I was always looking for something that would answer all of my problems. And it wasn't until I met Andrew on the fellowship interview trail and we were kind of talking about this and comparing our solutions to these problems that he showed me what he'd been doing with Notion. And I just had an immediate sense of regret that I hadn't been doing this for, the previous 3 years prior to that time, because it is so much better than what I was doing before. That I'm not just saying that. Like that, I am obsessed with how much this has done for me in the comparative short amount of time that I've been using it.
And really what we're offering with OrthoOS is to build these databases, to build the kind of the superstructure takes a ton of time. And I've been working on that time over the course of 5 years of residency. And we've really been refining and getting this to work in as efficient a way as possible. And so that work, that hours and hours of effort is done for you if you download the OrthoOS template. And then you have a ready-made resource that's customizable further to make it your own, but you can hit the ground running on day one and take excellent notes that are easily referable, high quality, and be helpful for you throughout your training, but also more importantly for your career.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I would end up doing cases in residency where I hadn't done them for a couple of years, and I try to reference my old notes. For an example, we do joints as a PGY3 to PGY5, so I come back on as a 5. It's been a couple of years. How does Dr. So-and-so do it? Do their anterior approach? What's different about Dr. X versus Dr. Y? And I'm trying to fumble through my old note system, and it just was not nearly as seamless as it is here. And then beyond that, I can take, well, what do I like from Dr. X, Dr. Y, and how do I envision doing this myself, right, in practice? And so I can build out that all within the database and all within the template so that I have these resources available to myself when I haven't done something in a little while.
Just to give you a 10,000 foot view of what OrthoOS offers, we'll go over this home page, but we'll also make a series of videos that go into the nitty-gritty of how to get the most out of each and every one of these steps. So stay tuned to the channel for more to come. But big picture, OrthoOS has multiple databases that run in parallel, but they also are able to talk to each other so that you can find information in multiple different ways. The most intuitive to understand is just the main case log, and it has cases in chronological order. As you add a new one, you add the procedure. You can tag it however you want, by approach, by implant, by specific reduction maneuver, you name it. The attending you worked with, the specialty, location, CPTs. This is customizable. One of the things that OrthoOS comes prepackaged with is we've built out hundreds of tags that pertain to orthopedic surgery. So you don't have to build it from scratch. If you don't like our tags or something you want to put in as a tag is not offered, it's easy to add a new one with no problem, or even edit the pre-existing ones if you want to change the name or how it appears.
Yeah, and we just want to give you, as Andrew said, 10,000-foot view of what we have to offer here. But there's so much in each one of these individual databases that we can cover. So, we're just going to make videos for all those, and we will come back. But we'll run through what we do have available, and we'll just kind of give you a brief snippet of each of these things. What Andrew's just pulled up for you is the procedure notes tab. So this is one where, I always kind of struggled with, okay, total hip arthroplasty. Then I would have all these little facts about hip osteoarthritis and the imaging, and then also what my attending preferences are. So this is separate. This is how do you do the case? How do you position them? What are the trays? That kind of thing. You save that all here, and you can save it to be attending specific. How does Dr. So-and-so do it versus, as I said earlier, Dr. X and Dr. Y. So that's all available to you here, and will cross-link with the main case log database.
And this is what no other software could offer besides Notion. And this is what I wanted in practice. I wanted to be able to think about, okay, I have a humeral shaft to fix. Let me look at the pearls. Let me look at the different approaches, the different implants. All of this links across databases. Pull in some fluoros from cases that were impactful that showed me these tips and tricks so that I can refer back to them easily. And then this is the really cool part, where you get in here and you can see every single case that's been done that fits that tag. And this is set it and forget it. You set it up once and you never have to manually add a case in. So it's just automatically going to pull in every humeral shaft I fix for the rest of my career, as long as I keep up with my Notion.
That's the magic of the whole system, and you'll see that theme throughout all of these databases where we've done the upfront work for you. These things are automatic once you just add a new case in that main case log tab. So it's not something you have to keep going back. Oh, I did another one. Oh, I did another one. That's kind of how I was doing things previously in the Apple Notes system I was using. The next one we want to show you is the OrthoNote system. So the example I just gave about the total hip. Well, if you wanted to learn more about, hey, what is the total hip arthroplasty general thought process, right? Like alignment, goals, revision principles, things like that. You can house all of those in the OrthoNotes system. So this is more just topic specific notes. If you wanted to take notes on anatomy, we're looking at upper extremity anatomy right now, that's all there. Physical exam tests, shoulder tests, etc. And just the Notion system, you have so much customizability, that all the colors, if you want drop down menus, no drop down menus, throw a table in there, that's all available. Again, we're going to make individual videos for every single one of these databases.
And the next database to highlight here is the Ortho library. So this is a fantastic system for keeping track of and storing journal articles that you'll read throughout your training. And again, we'll make another video on this that goes into details, but there's a Chrome plugin that allows you to be looking at an article on Chrome. You click a button and it'll automatically drop it in here for you. You drop the PDF for that paper in here, and then you have it forever in your Notion database. You can put tags on it, you can organize it however you want. But if I need to refer back to a PDF of this specific study, I have it there for the rest of my life. I don't have to worry about institutional access or anything in that regard. And so this can link to your OrthoNote system, to your procedure note system. You can drop these impactful papers anywhere you want them, make the little breadcrumbs across your different databases. And that's what's really powerful about the Notion system.
Okay, so the next database that we want to show you is called the Implant Catalog. And so this is somewhat specific to orthopedics as opposed to many other surgical subspecialties, but we use a lot of different implants and they all have their own nuances and technique guides. So this is a great place to store that. You can store the PDF of the technique guide, and along with that, any notes that you may have taken on that specific implant. Okay, and so you'll see that what Andrew just opened up here is one of his shoulder arthroplasty implants that he's used a lot during his training. You can see photos that he's taken with his meta glasses, videos as well, specifically how to assemble the implant, put it on the insertion handle, all that kind of stuff. And then if this is the best part, you scroll down at the bottom, any of these cases that he's done and tagged that specific implant under the tags column is populated here automatically. So it's not like he's going in after every one of these cases and adding it in the main case logs and then also adding it here. This is part of the system. Part of the point is that it does it automatically and you have everything available to you no matter what database you're in.
All right, so the next database to highlight is post-op protocols. So one of the things that we looked back at in retrospect and wish we had done better on taking notes on is these post-op protocols that attendings have spent a lot of time and effort in building. And these can be very valuable resources going out to practice and knowing what to tell your patients after a surgery. So you can store them in multiple different ways. You can store your therapist-facing protocol with the specifics of what exercises you want them doing. And then you can also have a patient-facing protocol. And one of the really powerful things about Notion is if you want to spend some time making this look nice, put logos, put pictures, whatever you want in here, the Notion platform with the subscription you pay for makes it very easy to publish this to the web. So if somebody doesn't need any Notion access or anything, you could make a website instantly with your biceps tenodesis post-op protocol and then share that link with your patients so that they can see it. So the time and effort you go to capturing these things throughout your training is not wasted effort. It's effort that makes you more prepared when you get out and practice.
The next database that we want to show you here is your research projects database, but this is research that you're doing as a trainee, right? And so you can go through here and keep track of all the projects that you've been doing, what their completion status is, whether it's data gathering, abstracts submitted, manuscripts with my attending, whatever it might be, as well as the priority, right? If you've got some abstract deadline coming up that you're really trying to meet, you can set it to high priority, and we have a filtered view for you to only see those high priority items. You can put your co-authors on there, so you're able to, in the future, sort like, oh, how many projects am I doing with so-and-so, or what was that one project I was doing with so-and-so? I want to see where that's at. You can organize it that way and look at it. You know, there's a lot of ways to do these things, but I'm a person that likes to have my whole ecosystem under one roof. So I was previously using Google Sheets for this, Apple Notes for some of my more clinical stuff, and things just got messy. I just like everything under the same roof, and this is just another capability that we have.
And again, an example of the databases talking to each other. If you have a paper that gets published, you can put it in your journal library. This is just linking out to the journal library, and it has the PDF right there forever. So I never have to worry about digging back into a million files to find this paper if somebody asks me to share the paper that we wrote with them. And then just a quick overview of what the rest of the OrthoOS platform offers. There's a daily to-do tracker here that you can customize to make however you want. There's places to store residency logistics like phone numbers and door codes and rotation logistics. There's a database to store your DEA, your MPI number, those numbers that you always have to go back into some deep, dark Apple Note to find. They're right here all in the same place for you and easily accessible.
If you're an intern and you're just getting started with these things, I can't tell you how many times that I get asked what my NPI number is. Every time I go to a conference, particularly something that's industry funded, they need it, and I'm always going to my Apple Notes trying to find that specific file. My Apple Notes has something where even though I know the title of the note I type it in, it doesn't show up at the top. It's driving me crazy. I can't figure it out. That's not a problem with this. Like all of that stuff you will use a lot, and you just stick it right there and it's 2 seconds. There you go.
So in short, that's OrthoOS. We built this template out for you to do all of that heavy lifting on the front end. So it's a ready-made resource for you to get the most out of your note-taking and your training so that by the end, you look back and you say, I've got this resource and this is how I feel 100%. I look back now finishing residency and the resource that I've built with the OrthoOS platform over the course of 5 years is invaluable to me. It is so easy to find any case I can think of in my training. I've got all these pearls that are well organized that I can refer back to, and it makes me feel much more prepared for the next step in fellowship and beyond, because the things that I've learned haven't just been lost in the shuffle somewhere. They're contained, they're written down, they're easily accessible, and I can refer to them anytime I want. And so it's a great thing to be able to look back and do that. And we really think that OrthoOS is the best platform that's out there to be able to get to the end of your training and say that you've built a resource like that.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I mean, if I had one regret, it's not having started this earlier. And I'm playing a little bit of catch up on the latter end of my training to make sure that I do have these resources available as I become an attending and after a year of fellowship, and I haven't nailed a femur in a year. And I want to remember how my one residency mentor did that. It's all there now. I just wish that I'd been doing this longer. It probably would have made me a better resident, but here I am. And I'm definitely glad I started before fellowship. Like that's going to be monumental for me. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. The template is available in the marketplace. So here's the link, the Notion Marketplace, and you can pick that up. I'd love it if you guys would subscribe to the channel, because we are going to keep pumping out videos for each one of these independent databases, just so you can see exactly how it works and really what the extent of each of these and the capability really it reaches so much farther than what we've shown you in this little brief snippet. So just stay tuned. We're going to keep pumping out material for you guys.
And if you have questions, feel free to drop in the comments of these videos. We'll keep a regular eye on that. And We use that as fodder for making new videos to really help you get the most out of this platform.